It's like
everybody's a Hikikomori or whatever, right? Everybody in America is.
We're a Hikikomori.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so we're gonna ourselves. Okay. Okay, take one. Just take the audio.
2 hits. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Now we have 3 samples.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah. So this is the first time we're going to be getting together to do this.
We've been talking about it for a really long time, about like 2 years now.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about creating stuff since high school, but actually like podcasts kind of specific in audio, more recent.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as subject, there's a lot of stuff that we're kind of into and stuff. I guess maybe we'll narrow in our focus a little bit over time, but shit, like we like MMA, martial arts stuff,
games, anime, furries. We love furries.
No, we're not furry, but we're scientists.
We just want to know more about the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Furrydom.
Are they born? Are they created in a lab? Maybe.
This is gonna be more important as like metaverse gets become a bigger thing. So we're basically like, and then people had to find their identities not in. Oh, look at this space, by the way.
Yeah. Wallpaper engine.
Wallpaper engine. 599. Use affiliate code Brendon. Discount code. Save 20% on your.
Yeah. So wallpaper engine, like, so it gives you an animated wallpaper.
Yeah, but it can also do like sounds. I think if you notice, it's also synced with the light over there on my computer.
Oh, okay.
That's
behind me. Yeah.
Isn't that cool? And it crashes your computer occasionally.
Yeah, the crashing is interesting. Like, if is that intended? You know, is the point of the program?
Just keep you on your toes, you know.
Yeah. Because you got a pretty powerful computer.
Oh like, I mean, like depending on like
your computer looks like an air conditioning unit basically, and it's still crashing from.
I mean, like, I think no matter how strong a computer is, like, the wrong driver or incompatibility or, like, some kind of glitch can crash it. So totally. I think it keeps you humble. It's like a metaphor for life. You can be as the top of your game as you want, but you get sick or...
You catch Ebola from some guy at fucking Denny's.
Yeah, you get UTI.
Get a UTI, turns into Ebola.
It just ruins your day.
Yeah. You ever had a UTI?
No.
No, I haven't had one either, but
I've had a few like fears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you burning when you're taking.
There was a few times, but it wasn't anything. Like it just happened. I asked my doctor about it. They say sometimes it happens. Has that ever happened to you?
No, I haven't had any. But like the closest I get is. After the equipment is used down there, and like the plumbing is producing product, and like it's going through the pipes. Yeah. Sometimes when I go to take a leak after, and all that, all the product in the pipes that's been sitting there and hardening like concrete for the past few hours. I feel that a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, I've had like a thrombosed vein before.
Okay.
Like,
what is that? Can you pull that up? What a thrombosed vein looks like?
I just want to keep this cool wallpaper up.
Oh,
but but it's like when you have an erection and then there's like a vein. Yeah. It's like a hardened vein, and I was really scared. I was really worried.
Okay.
But then it just went away after a few days. I asked everybody about it too. Like I was like, "Hey, this is normal. Like, have you had one?" And then like they laughed, of course. It wasn't the medical advice I was looking for.
Ridicule.
Yeah. It went away after, so it was pretty good. But I was kind of scared, but it didn't come to anything. But anyways, it's just, the analogy here is a computer glitch, a life glitch. We all have trials and tribulations. Yeah. Sometimes in the form of thrombosed veins. Sometimes
like, the most powerful dick like anybody's ever seen, and you can still get a rhombus, like a hard vein sticking out of it.
Yeah. Or like
something to think about.
Some like feral animal might come out of the woods in your neighborhood that you've walked many times over.
Yeah. And
then...
like bite your dick, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, who knows?
Dude, yeah. There might be a wild dick-biting raccoon in your neighborhood. But I've had some things going on with, like, your most vital piece of equipment. But there's kind of a psychological thing going on where if you go to seek treatment for it or something, you're almost like... it's almost like confirming that something's wrong with it, right?
I think it's that manifestation bullshit, like don't put this negative energy into...
Totally. And it doesn't make any sense, but there's guys I mean, if I go to the doctor and found out something's wrong, it's like, now something's wrong. Like, I have to do something about it.
Wait, so what happened in your case?
Oh, I mean, nothing bad, right? That's more speculative to talk about. But I just had things like, if I was jerking off too much, I would get just like a little bit of discoloration maybe, or that looks like bruising or something like that.
On your dick?
Yeah.
But not in the product that comes out. It's not discoloring.
No.
It's not like bright red.
That'd be interesting.
Interesting. I've had I
have like a regal crimson load
that comes out of me. They call me the Crimson Lord. Like, how do you get that name?
There's only one way to find out, baby girl.
Okay, so we were talking about what we're going to talk about on this podcast.
Yeah.
So we went through a list, but I would say that we're into geeky stuff, like sci-fi, fantasy, video games, and I think that's what we have in common.
Totally. Yeah.
And we've known each other for 12 years.
Since grade 9.
Oh, how old are we in grade 9? That's
14 or something, I think.
Oh, so it's been more than 12 years.
Yeah. It's
been 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
So, but then we've had a lot of time to diverge into different things, but we all have we still have this kind of shared love for weird ideas, and we have a similar sense of humor. I just don't know if that's something that gets defined early on in our youths, or we're kind of just born with a certain mentality or a certain mindset of what we find funny, or I don't know. That's always a kind of fun discussion.
Oh, totally. Probably contributes a lot to, for the people you hang out with. So our group of friends probably does inform the way your sense of humor develops.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a big portion of since you were a kid too, right? Just at least people who are maybe into surreal and kind of strange humor maybe have always been that way. But yeah, it's hard to say. Shit. I can only really speak for myself, but I know when I was a kid, I used to kind of fantasize and dream about having a nighttime talk show kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a Conan O'Brien type.
Really?
Exactly like that was what I wanted to do, and I had this. Now this is when I was 4 or 5 years old, so it's very silly. But I had this one outfit that I liked that I would kind of put on when I was feeling in this mode, and I wanted to just fantasize.
What kind of outfit was it?
It was, it was this one pajama bottoms and some.
Wait, how old are you? Was this last week? 2 weeks ago?
I was in a public bathroom with a knife, talking into a microphone.
Fuck me!
I turned all the faucets on and I fucking threatened everybody who came in.
Call me up. Hey man, let's hang out. I'm ready. Wait, so you were a kid? You were a one? So you must have been pretty young if you were wearing a onesie. That was your.
No, it wasn't a onesie, but it had some pajama elements going on.
That was your...
And the character, I wanted my name to be Vincer.
Okay, you can call you Vincer now. You haven't introduced yourself yet, so...
My name is Vincer.
I'm Brendo.
Brendo and Vincer.
Brendo and Vincer.
It was this lifelong dream coming to fruition. I'm going to come in my pajamas like that, but they're going to be tiny kid-sized ones that look like the Hulk.
Do you have a picture of it? You can recreate it, so next time I bring it, I'll take some pictures of you.
I can tell you what the outfit looked like.
Can you, as a person that can't visualize anything, can you help me visualize it?
Okay, yeah. Okay. I mean, that doesn't totally make sense. If you can't visualize it, how am I going to help? But I'll describe it to you.
Yeah.
It was blue, kind of deep blue pajama bottoms. If you think of when we did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu together, there was that hue of blue that our uniforms was in.
Okay.
It was a pair of pajama pants in that color with the banded bottoms and stuff around the heel. Very pajama-like.
Banded bottoms. Okay, so it's
yeah.
I think that went back into fashion now.
Bottom. Yeah,
this,
I mean, my pants haven't. Yeah,
you just fucking taper. Were these pants?
I think that was the pair. Yeah,
I'm wearing them now. I'm the same size as you when you were a kid.
Yeah. And
we're like the same person. It just turns out we're just talking to each other, like talking to ourselves.
Remembering my childhood is just stuff that you did. Remember that time I got the bone marrow transplant when I was a kid?
Oh wow! Wow! It's all coming together.
It's crazy.
This is like Paddleball. We haven't had our medication. You think these are just like a thing of pills? Is that tea?
Yeah. There's no leaves in that bag. It's a bunch of Vicodins.
They tricked me.
It's like Seroquel.
So you just grabbed the pants.
Lost my train of thought.
What was the top of your pajamas like?
So the top was, damn, I had something I wanted to joke about related to that, but we'll come back to that. I can't remember.
Okay.
But so I have these blue pajama pants.
Yeah.
I had this one pair of slippers that I thought looked like weird and elven, and I wanted to be like an elven fucking talk show host or something because I was into fantasy and stuff at the time. And the shirt was probably like the most embarrassing part of the getup. Was like this white, not a pajama shirt, but it's like a child shirt that's just a piece of shit rag that like you throw on a kid. And it was like this white shirt, long sleeve that had like kind of blue pattern on it, sort of thing. So it very like not something you would expect.
Did I know you when you had this, or like?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, okay. So you're super young. Whoa.
Very young, yeah.
Where do you think that comes from? Like this wanting to be a talk show host?
Yeah.
Like you like ideas, maybe? I like ideas. Like,
oh, totally.
I think that's like something that maybe connects us. Like we like weird random shit. Like
yeah,
I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think maybe at the time it was like a manifestation of like a lack of friends or something like that. Because I was
as a 5-year-old,
if I had a show. Oh yeah, I had no friends.
Oh
until,
shit,
like,
that sucks, man.
I was like a loner until probably like 4th grade or so,
okay.
Which is not a crazy amount of time, but it was enough, I'd say, to impact the way I behaved when I was young.
And now, probably.
Yeah. Like I totally think like because back then I was alone so much, and like all the same time like my parents worked full time during the week, so they were like gone every night kind of thing, and they were also on a swimming team. So it was like 4 nights a week after they came out from work, they would go out to swimming again.
Dude, your parents are bad at. They were on a swimming team.
They were.
As parents, they were swimming team.
Oh, they're athletic. Like my mom's done many of the Ironman triathlons.
Yeah.
Just like 180K bike,
yeah, I remember
4K
that.
swim, and
you mentioned
marathon.
that. Yeah, that's badass.
My dad did some halves, but he got badly injured doing one, so he hasn't been doing them since.
And he's a fireman too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Think about he was a fireman, but the thing about I guess that and probably a lot of kind of city jobs where like you're getting a pension from the city or government seems to be pretty substantial. Like he was able to retire when he was 52.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What
so
the
he's
fuck?
been retired since then. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, worked out pretty well for him.
Wow, I had no clue that was.
Yeah.
Wow. Should we get city jobs or? I don't know. What can we do, man? We can be radio hosts.
We'll be the city radio guys.
Wait, I'm just gonna check if you're in the frame. Yeah, you're in the frame. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So we'll just. Oh yeah. If the government were to become like a totalitarian, like they're running everything, it's like 1984. Maybe we could audition for the spot of like we're the propaganda guys on the radio.
Because we are like we're the people. We're part of the system. We're kind of youngish, like so we're still hidden. But I have like some doubts of like if we can keep. I don't know. I just feel like young people these days, like by the time this happens, like they use a different language. Like there's a lot of words I don't know, like cap and like. Bat and fax. Oh, like no cap. I'm just learning all this in TikTok.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I don't understand the syntax of it.
Oh, me neither.
Yeah.
But I just know it means like, fuck, I feel probably so boomer right now, but sorry guys. But it's like, it means like you're lying about something if it's cap, and then no cap, it means like that's real.
Gotcha.
Which I don't know what the root of that, like Latin root of.
Yeah.
No
the romantic languages. Yeah, that doesn't really seem to roll off the tongue so much, but maybe not. It doesn't roll off my tongue.
There's tons. Like ratio is like a new one. Like
that I'm familiar with. It's like
that's
when
ratio.
On Twitter, like where your comments far outnumber your retweets and likes.
Yeah,
that's ratio, right? And people are just using that like to mean bad or like unpopular or something.
Like or it's like a boo boo your idea, right? Poo poo your idea. Like if you say like, hey man, let's go to Denny's, and like that is it. How do you use it?
I'd say like
that's ratio, or do you go ratio?
You're hanging out with Justin Trudeau, and he's like, "Dude, I got an idea for a banging ass costume at this Arabian Nights thing we got going on. Woo! I got a jar of Nutella. I got a turban.
we're in like the early 2000s or whatever. Like I don't know when that was taken. But
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was in the early 2000s. And then, yeah, the amount of funny pictures of that guy is it's fucking beautiful. Like all the different costumes.
Oh, I haven't seen. I'm sure like, but I feel like if you're like a popular guy growing up and like
you're the son of the prime minister.
Yeah, like you're gonna have more fun in your life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like I really think about like a lot of how much of our life. I actually don't believe in like free will. Like I think of like how much of our life is just defined by all these kind of random chaotic chance encounters. Like you didn't pick your genes, you didn't pick like your parents, you didn't pick all the random influences that you had in the cartoons that you watched growing up, the country and the kind of environment and the like programming that you had in terms of like
totally, yeah. You're not in control of like your psychological baggage either.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The things that happen that cause you to act certain ways, because if you were, everybody would just not be crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm sure, a lot of people who have issues don't choose to have issues.
Right.
It's not like,
and like probably so much of it happens in the darkness, like behind.
Yeah.
And then by the time it actually comes to the foreground where you're able to kind of vocalize what you think, like it's probably easier for your brain to, instead of like like tell you like, oh, all this stuff came to this decision, it's probably easier to like make something up and be like, oh, it makes sense to you. Like it's like, okay, that makes sense to me. Yeah. But then there's also this like balancing and risk probabilities and like weighing of like
I mean, it sounds like do you know the concept of like, I can't totally remember the order, but the id, the ego, and the superego?
No, you can tell me about it.
Like,
I remember hearing about it, but I just don't know.
Just kind of like it's what you're talking about, sort of like I believe the id is like your animal behaviors, so like our sex drive or hunger and like things like that, and then I think it's the ego is so totally unconscious is that part, the id, where we talk about things where it's like, I don't know why I behave the way I do sometimes, but it's, like, it's just my programming as a human. It's in my DNA.
Is it ID or?
ID, yeah.
ID, id, okay.
Maybe it's pronounced ID. I just spelled id.
No, I don't know, actually. Yeah.
And then I think the ego would be the semi-conscious, which is where your learned behaviors start to meet those animal behaviors.
Okay.
And then the superego would be all conscious behaviors, where it's like superego is making decisions because of these reasons, kind of thing, and like, or being aware of social norms or something like that.
Okay.
Where, like, I'm doing
like logic
this.
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Whereas it sounds like kind of what we were talking about was like the id section. Or where it's like behaviors that are subconscious that you don't necessarily think about or understand.
And maybe like it just
determine your path,
rolls up, and they're probably all interconnected.
Yeah.
And then there's probably like feedback mechanisms where, like, the top kind of influences the middle, and the middle is influenced by the bottom, and then it's like some kind of system.
And I think the middle, like the ego, I believe, was more shaped by like, because it's semi-conscious, so it was like events and stuff, like things that happen to you.
Okay.
Or it's like, I don't know, a dog bit me when I was a kid.
Okay.
So now I'm have an aversion to dogs.
Okay.
Maybe, for example.
Yeah.
If I'm understanding correctly, I think that would be in the ego category.
Ego, id, ego. What's the last one?
Superego.
Superego.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting idea. Just about how people's minds are made up. I have a very shallow understanding of. I think that's clear from my explanation, but
everything we say here, because now we're the radio host of the new state.
Woo!
So everything we say is law. Bro. Like it's.
If you don't agree, fucking you go to jail. Right to jail, bitch.
I mean that matches like I've been reading. It's called Behave by Robert Sapolsky. Yep. He's like a neurobiologist and also
Sapolsky, he's like a Stanford lecturer, right?
Yeah. He's super cool. He's like a hippie dude. But he was talking about it's like roughly how they look at the brain in like terms of the early brain, which is like layer 1, and then it's like it's probably like the id you're talking about, like the stem and that those older, more ancient things that we share with lizards.
Gotcha.
And then it's all about like stuff that we don't control, like heart rate and like pupil dilation and like vein and like your circulatory system dilating, or
hormonal responses and stuff like that.
That's actually something like that.
Or is that a different part of the
brain? It might be the middle.
Yeah.
So the middle is colored by the midbrain. Like I think the hypothalamus is like one of the important ones, but it'll take emotion and then convert that to information for the early first layer. So you have the first layer brain, second layer brain. So you see like a scary image, and then it sends instructions to the stem to increase your heart rate and that function. And then there's a top layer, which is like logic and memory and the stuff you talk about, like a super ego. I mean, that sounds legit. Like, I don't know if he's talking about
it.
Like
the neuroscientific explanation, totally. And I could see like where maybe like the base layer of the brain, maybe like a disturbance in the relationship of the two could result in things like panic attacks, where like your body's having like a response to something that's not a real threat. And
then your body has to, your brain has to rationalize it some way, because it always has to probably like be like congruent with itself and just like be kind of balanced. So like maybe your logical side would be like, oh, it's because like she's a real bitch, like, you know, like she's I don't like her, like it's like, but you're just having a panic attack because of some other reason that you can't identify.
You ever had a panic
attack? Sense. I don't think I've ever had one. I do get anxious and nervous and things like that.
I've had like 2.
Oh yeah, can you describe it?
Absolutely, I can describe it. Very weird.
Really?
The first time it ever happened.
Was,
and for me, I think it's based on anxiety around not being able to leave right when I want to leave, kind of thing. For me, it was what triggered it. And
does that happen a lot? Do you get like under duress, like false in prison?
I'm held in prison all the time.
I can't leave.
Yeah, I was on the bus the other day and I was ready to get off. He just like, no, wouldn't open the door. I was like,
that's interesting. Okay,
but for example, the first time it ever happened, I was at. That's just my rationalization of why. I think it happens.
That's
But I was at Playland.
Okay.
And I had gone on this ride and I don't know the layout of Playland at all. I'd gone on this spinning ride. It was like, I don't know what it's called, but there's like arms coming off of it, and then like 4 seats attached to each one that spin.
And is there like 3 arms, and then it goes?
It's something like that, up and down kind of thing.
I think I've been on that, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, and it's just spinning you around in circles. So I was a little nauseous when I got off, and then I was like, I need to sit down just to let the nausea pass.
Yeah.
And then like I sat down, kind of parked myself next to it, and I could still see the vibrations of the ground were like shaking me. And I was just looking around, and I had no idea where any bathroom was where I could puke.
Okay.
So I was just kind of thinking like, damn, I might throw up right at this bench, like.
Okay.
In the middle of Playland kind of thing. And it was just the feeling of being trapped, I think, caused my body to... Because my mind wasn't really aware of the issue. I guess I was feeling stressed about that, but I didn't realize I was that stressed. My body started like... the circulation started slowing to my arms.
Wow.
So I went totally pins and needles in both arms and like had the claw hands because like they cramped up and like tightened. So I was like sitting like this.
And that's probably freaking you out too. Like
I was like, what's happening to me right now?
Yeah.
Because like I couldn't explain it at the time. And I realized afterwards that I had a panic attack.
Oh.
And for me, that's the thing. Yeah, my circulation goes like when it's happening, like my body's having like a stress attack or something.
So that's the first time ever. And how old were you?
Not that long ago. It would have been, I don't know, like 25.
Oh,
26 maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then it happened again on a car ride. I was going on a trip somewhere, and we were driving quite a distance. And I guess just on car rides, I've always like kind of struggled psychologically with like pissing. You know?
Oh, because I have a weak bladder,
and like in my head, I'm like, God, I have to piss again immediately as soon as I gotta get back on.
That's like a common thing. I used to have it as a kid, and my cousin did too. Yeah,
so it's like a bladder feeling as a result of the anxiety, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess that anxiety had compounded to the point where like I was like kind of just. I usually grab the handle, like the holy fuck handle in the car.
Yeah.
Just because I like to. So I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I instinctually reach for it. Actually, maybe it's because my mom was a bad driver. Like when I was a kid, like she would always kind of stop hard and I would like lean forward like this to the point where she started putting her hand in front of me all the time when I'd be leaning forward.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So maybe something to do with that. But I was just in a car with my buddy too, like going camping. I could have been like, "Can we pull over?" But just
you don't want to be that guy. Like,
exactly.
You're the passenger. Like he's doing this favor to drive you somewhere.
So my arms went numb, like for like the last half hour.
Were you like this?
They were more kind of like, I wasn't as obvious about it. It wasn't as bad because I was aware of I was having a panic attack. But it's like, it's starting like, I can think about it all I want, but I can't stop it now.
No, obviously, yeah.
So like, but what happens is like you're breathing, you don't really notice that your breaths are Like you're getting barely any oxygen in it.
You're really shallow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So I'm just sitting in the car with my numb arms going. Kind of thing, yeah.
Did you freak out your friend like that you was driving, or did he?
No, I don't think he knew I was feeling weird. I could like because of my breathing, but I just said like I was feeling sick or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, so you know.
So it doesn't take like.
I didn't attack him or like try and pick up the windows.
Take the wheel.
Get me out of here.
Fully e-brake. Like
I panicked.
But that just means like I've never heard of like. But it's like a mystery, like what exactly caused it. Like you have a theory that it was you know just having to pee or not feeling like you were able to, which I can like relate with. Like I always kind of get nervous for long rides, especially if you're with people that like have a record of just being able to not piss for like days or some shit. Like
it's like people you respect too, or
exactly,
something like
yeah.
that. You're like, God, I want to be like
that guy.
Yeah. Around my boys.
And I feel like we're a bit more comfortable as you get older about like just like vocalizing things like that, just like, hey man, like I know it's weird, but I have to pee again, like I don't know, something wrong with me. But like before, it's like for whatever reason, like when you're younger or whatever, you just like don't want to show weakness, or I'm not sure what it is.
You don't want to rock the boat, you don't want to like inconvenience anybody, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common with our generation too. It's just like a bunch of softies who don't want to make noise.
I have a big problem with that, you know, like I just like have trouble kind of. I just like don't like confrontation, or I don't like being what's the like contrarian, like just don't want to talk about the opposite, or I just want to go with the flow. But I think that people that are more kind of assertive or more confident and dominant in that way, they just do way better just because they can ask for what they want. And I think it's like a muscle, right? The more you do it, I think the more momentum you get. I don't know, it's just like
I think you're absolutely
theory,
right.
but yeah.
Just becoming used to asking for the things you want.
Yeah.
Right, and that's people are very uncomfortable with that. I'm uncomfortable with that.
But like that's surprising to me because you seem like you're a pretty confident guy, but you don't kind of care about what other people think. I get that impression.
To a degree. Like I'd say I've gotten much more comfortable with it after like a lot of things kind of changed after I tried like the anxiety drugs.
Okay.
Yeah, which after those panic attacks happened, I took Paxil for a bit over a year.
Okay.
And I stopped just because I didn't. I mean, I'd say in general, I don't necessarily feel you should be taking a drug your whole life. Like, you shouldn't be prescribed Paxil for like 65 years.
Is that usually what happens? Like, is that? I
think a lot of people end up because like these drugs have only existed for less than 100 years or something, right?
Okay.
Like, think of like antidepressants and mood-altering drugs,
right.
Specifically, like I don't know when they were invented, but it couldn't have been more than like 100 years ago, right? That like we invented drugs that affect your brain chemistry and change your behaviors.
Which is kind of crazy, right? Because like especially at a long term, like maybe your brain adapts to it in a certain way, or that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
I can tell you, like the personal thing. Like my grandmother actually has been on something for depression for like at least 30 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's just because with the mood altering drugs, they change who you are, right?
Damn,
and it's like, I just want to be. I guess a lot of people do feel like I wish I was someone else. Like I think that's probably is common, right? Because it's like I have all these issues, all these insecurities, and maybe perceived weaknesses or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, if I take this pill, I'll be a more confident, better version of me.
And in some ways, like alcohol is that temporary pill, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Remove your inhibition.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a common thing to say that people act like their true selves on alcohol. I think that's not the case at all.
You don't think so?
No. I think people act differently than they would normally act on alcohol.
Yeah. Which, I don't know why people would say that, because like if they're not like, maybe it's like the true stuff that they want to be, and...
Yeah. Or it's like, because sometimes like if you're drunk, right, like you almost like are not processing things that are happening and stuff like that.
It's
way. Like if you see like a dog running by, you might be like, whoa, look at that dog, kind of thing. Like if you're wasted and it's like there's no like that reaction, like is not producing anything. Like there's no reason for it.
Okay.
I mean that's not the greatest example, but
there's
the expression in vino veritas, right? There's like truth in wine or something like that in Latin. So it's like an old expression, but
that's cool.
I mean, like think about it. Do you act like your true self when you're wasted? Is that the truest Brendon?
I don't know. Like I haven't thought about this. I've heard the saying, and like
totally.
I do think that I feel more confident and like more social.
Yeah.
And like I was talking about how like being a lot of times being drunk and being around people that are also drunk and you're having a good time and it's maybe set and setting you all set this time aside to not care about anything else, and that's when people can really let loose and be connect with each other and things like that, because you're not weighed down by the troubles of every day, and you have this this tool, let's say, to help encourage. So I always saw it that way. I never saw it as you're somebody else. I would just say that you're maybe I'm leaning more towards it's who you want to be, but you have too many kind of things in the way of everyday life that prevent you. But I can see both ways.
Too much of the superego,
I guess.
in a way, affecting your decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to that. Because if you think about a house party, for example, where everybody's drinking and all that, it's almost like a social group contract that we're all going to lower our inhibitions together.
Yeah. It's like a social contract.
And often those conversations, you do feel closer to people after a lot of the time. After you've been drinking with them, after you have I fucking love you, man.
Yeah,
those kind of conversations.
Yeah.
And but I guess my point is I try not to judge people too much for their drunk behavior, because I don't think that's the real them, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just going back to you felt that. Did you feel that when you were taking it? Did it affect who you were and in what ways? Can you describe that a bit more?
A few things are off the bat. Anger.
Okay.
So much angrier things and
Because so you went from anxious to angry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I started snapping on random people and stuff
I see that.
that. Yeah. And also just more feelings of general anger. I guess because my normal self is, I don't know, doesn't really engage in a lot of my angry feelings. I tend to be a pretty happy guy a lot.
Yeah, I never actually seen you super angry or anything.
So it was but when I was on that, right, I guess, I don't know, I think my normal sober mind just has an aversion to anger because of things, I've seen. When I was growing up, my dad had a very explosive, violent temper.
Oh, wow,
and I found myself on the wrong end of it a whole bunch of times.
Okay.
And I think in my conscious mind, I'm that only hurt me, kind of thing, when I was growing up.
It doesn't
and I
really
was
solve problems.
Yeah, exactly. I was it's only going to make anything worse if I lose my mind, kind of thing. But that thought process was quieted when I was on these drugs, or on this drug, Paxil.
Oh, so just being able to recognize that you're getting angry.
Yeah, so I was yeah, exactly. I was and when it was maybe appropriate, maybe I would just instantly flare up and be at a 9 kind of thing.
Really?
From
really fast.
Kind of minor things. Yeah.
Can you describe any situations, for example, that it wouldn't trigger you now, but for whatever reason?
Yeah, I gotta think of one. I was so pissed. I was riding the bus one time, and there was a guy just standing by. How there's the doors where you get off in the middle.
Yeah.
There's just a guy standing there. And I was maybe don't block the fucking doors. Because I was walking past them.
Wow, okay.
Just
And you wouldn't do that usually, I don't think.
No, because who cares?
Yeah. Exactly. It's you'll never see them again. You just around them. Okay.
It was after I was God, why did that make me so angry? And instances like that, it would happen on transit a lot, just because I think I was exposed to a lot of people. I would start snapping on people and
I mean, to be fair, transit sucks. A lot of the time, you just be around other people.
At the time, I was getting separated.
Right.
When I was on that as well, and my anger towards that was I do think a lot of, I don't feel bad my anger at the time.
Yeah.
So I feel all things considered, I'm justified to be pretty fucking angry.
Yeah.
But it wasn't me, it was just I feel if I'm going to get angry and tell someone off, it's got to be maybe some clever and kind of, I don't know, a certain kind of, certain ways to express your annoyance are way healthier and less toxic.
Sure.
Than others, than just rage.
Just really passive aggressive. Hey, is it just me, or are you staying the fucking way?
Yeah. But I was acting in my brain was working like someone I didn't want to be, kind of thing.
Wow.
And so the anger, and also on Reddit, bro.
Oh, were you raging?
War on Reddit.
Actually, I've never actually did you do YouTube comments too growing up, or did you just Reddit?
I'll get into my history.
Oh, good. Tell me about
trolling. Yeah, I do have a history as a troll.
I had no clue. Okay.
I was pretty old school. Yeah. But with this, on Reddit, I would seek out arguments. If someone was just too because on Reddit, everybody's a fucking expert who's totally sure of everything
Yeah,
they
that's
say.
true. Yeah,
And like that just like
sometimes.
constantly rubbed me the wrong way. So I would hold positions I didn't even care about. Like I would just like say I was on the opposite side so I could argue with the motherfucker.
Thread? The longest, like 100.
No, nothing like that. I'm not crazy. But
you just wouldn't let it go. You're like,
I mean, I probably like was in the thread was maybe like 14, 15 replies long where we're just like insulting each other just because like I had
that's quite a bit actually.
I had so much venom in me, right? I was like a snake.
Shit.
I needed to like spit my venom at somebody.
Did I hang out with you at this time? Like, no, I don't remember.
I wasn't hanging out with many people at this time. I was pretty isolated.
Okay, maybe that's a good thing too.
Yeah.
Or like you don't piss off anybody or like explode at anybody. But I'm glad you didn't yell at me.
But things like also on social, I was using social media kind of irresponsibly because I would vent about things on Facebook.
Oh.
Which I've never done before, but I had so much anger at the time. I was like, I need to get this out of my system. And like, so I'd post it. I was living with Coleman at the time. My Irish roommate back in Ireland now. And sometimes he'd be like, saw that thing you posted. Well, crazy.
Yeah? He'd call you out on it.
Yeah, and that's a good friend. I'll delete that.
Oh, so you would agree with him too?
Oh, yeah, I always deleted it after. I was like an angry post and delete like 2 hours later kind of guy.
Can you name some of them? I don't think I've ever seen these actually. I was on Facebook page.
I mean, there was a bunch about my separation.
Okay.
I should not be posting about that.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy, right?
Yeah. But it was like my brain was not my brain at the time. You know?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And also, like, I would post things about like I was on this kick about people with mental health problems who would like brutally kill people who would get off and like face no consequences.
Okay.
Like for example, like the Greyhound guy. Like that enraged me because like he's out of jail. He has changed his name so that the baggage wouldn't follow him. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he doesn't.
Because I don't actually know how he looks like. So he could be like you could be him for all.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's like an old Asian guy. Vincent Lee was his name.
Oh yeah.
But it's not his name anymore because he changed it to get away from all that nastiness of him cutting the guy's head off and eating.
Just
his
like
face.
I put that behind new year, new me. Like.
And there was another one about a guy who lived in Coquitlam, I think, in like the late 80s, who like brutally killed like 6 of his family members.
Wow. And they just didn't get any repercussions or anything like that?
Yeah, I think he was in an institution but then was released because they're he's a victim of a harsh society and he changed his name so that he wouldn't have to deal with the baggage of like killing his whole family with like a rifle and hammer, I think it was too.
This is like it's a hard topic for me just because I just don't.
It's a very hard topic. Oh yeah.
I mean,
at the time I was very certain about it though when I was on that medication.
You're just like you didn't think that.
I was like, this is bullshit that we're putting monsters like this on the street. And I was like, that's not. I don't know.
Yeah, like my whole idea is just like
delete it after.
Okay, so you would just rant about that, but it's like why were you thinking about that? Or like it's like people that knew you are like.
It's not like
is this something you think about every day? Like
yeah. But, at the time, I was like clenching my fist thinking about these guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because my whole, like, I don't believe in free will. I think it's, like, a lot of the actions that you do aren't... So, like, there's a part of me that is just, like, you know... But it's, like, I can't forgive them and say, oh, it's totally fine. You chop off some guy's head, move on.
Water under the bridge, bro.
I don't know. I'm conflicted, too. But it's just... Yeah. Oh, wait. Let me just check if we're still...
Yeah, make sure we're recording.
Yeah.
But, it was also, like... In addition to that, I think that was connected to my filter was suppressed.
Okay.
So I would, not just angry things, but things like, I would ask inappropriate sexual questions and stuff like that. Like, you guys ever tried to DP with a toy in the bedroom or something? Like, like asking things like that, which is like, bro, what the fuck?
And with 2 people that you didn't know that well, or?
Sometimes with people I didn't know that well.
Oh, wow. Like coworkers or like...
Yeah, coworkers.
Really?
I mean, like... I wasn't like sexually harassing my coworkers, but I would like be probably too open about things that were going on in my life.
Okay.
And certain people responded to it. Like there was this like 60-year-old Scottish guy who I got along great with.
Because he doesn't give a fuck either.
Yeah,
He's just
spoke
like
graphically about
like,
stuff.
Wow, awesome. Okay. Were there other people that like kind of pulled away that after?
It was just like I guess I was just kind of known for a while as being like oh Nick's he's a weird guy like ask you some dank questions kind of thing. Okay. And for me, like, my process of getting to know people for a long time has been all the time just questions. Because it's like, I want to know about you, right? So I'm going to ask all kinds of questions.
Yeah. I mean, that's usually, I guess, that's a great way to talk. But, I mean, how to get to know someone.
Yeah.
Do you find, like, other people have, like, other strategies of getting to know people. Like, I guess it would be just like hang out and do something, and like a lot of people don't talk as much.
I think we kind of touched on it earlier, like the strategy of an anxious person being like, I'm going to make no demands of anybody here. I'm not going to stand out at all, kind of thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that's pretty common because people just think like, well,
that's true. Yeah,
if I'm just agreeable all the time, they'll like me.
Yeah,
but it's really like, I mean, the people that you're closest to and get along with best, right, are people you can disagree with, I think.
Yeah,
it's like if you agree on everything, like, how good of friends are you?
And how are you going to like build each other's ideas up? If you don't, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So like agreeing on everything,
yeah,
not good for friendship, I think.
Yeah.
And also like, it makes you interesting too. If like you're saying, well, this is how I feel because I've thought about these things and this is how I feel about it, kind of thing, and that's far more interesting than just be like, yeah, I agree, bro.
I think so. Like, you want to see who the person is. Like, you don't necessarily, but I don't know, maybe it just depends on the personality type of the people that you're talking to. Like, if people are very like, I don't know, they like their own ideas, and then if you're a yes man to that, but generally
they might like in some cases.
Yeah.
But will they value you deeply? I guess, or just a means to an ends of their like confirming their biases or whatever.
And we never want to feel that way, but like sometimes like it's more comfortable to be like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just like earlier with like there's gonna be things where you got bruises on your dick. I don't want to go like your friends are like the doctor in that kind of setting who will make you think about these things you got going on all the time.
Yeah.
Or it's like having friends that can call you out and disagree with you is gonna make your life better for sure.
Yeah.
And if you're on some bullshit, or you're having people who are comfortable enough with you that they can be like, you're on some bullshit, and like feel comfortable that you're not just gonna permanently cut them out of your life.
Yeah.
So I think that's a thing. That's becoming a thing.
I think people's like thresholds are a bit like maybe
I've
it's
done
just because
of
of
past.
Yeah.
You know that,
Yeah. Maybe it's like just easier in this age where it's like we're already just like the only connection strand is like messaging anyway, and it's digital, and it's like it's just easy to not message someone. But if like the way of hanging out was to meet each other every week, and it's like a part of your life, and I just feel like there's just so much more when you're face to face with someone that's like just lost in like just like digital communications that it's just a lot harder. Or it's a lot easier to cut someone out if you were just messaging with them anyway.
Oh, yeah. And with digital communication, like, just think of, it's now pretty much acceptable, like, we do it to each other all the time, to just, like, not answer someone until the next day, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's not normal, right? Like, under face-to-face circumstances.
Can you imagine?
Like, you asked me a question, I just sat here staring at you.
And then you, like, knock on my door tomorrow?
Yeah.
By the way.
That's weird as hell, but it's kind of the normal thing. Like, I do it all the time. Like, there are cases where, like, you're reading, you're like, okay, I'm going to respond to that. Now's not ideal to respond to.
Right. And I think that's actually, more people should do that. Yeah. I think it should, like the whims of, like, people's messages and things like that, it shouldn't cut into your time. You should, like, you shouldn't scatter your, like, attention, your resource. Like, attention is a resource that you should hold kind of, like, closely. Yeah. And then, like, there's always a time to, like, be more social and things like that. I've been trying to do that more, like, kind of make sure, like, I just don't always just check my phone throughout the day. I'll kind of chunk out, like, okay, I'll respond all now. I try to do it in the morning, and then just, like, I think it's been helping me, like, in terms of, like, well-being and things like that.
Like, it sounds like it'd be better for your brain, I would think, just so you could be more focused. So, like, these conversations, the social shit on the phone, it's not just floating through your head all day. Yeah. It's like, but it's. I think in the actual, like, moment of it, it's really fun because you're, like, talking to your friends and things like that. Yeah. But I think it's just not it's, like, really unnatural for your brain because you think about it, like, for, like, hundreds and thousands of years of, like, human history, like, when did you have, like, just randomly, like, when you're doing something, just like a disembodied, like, like message come to you, like, multiple times a day? It'd be someone that you're with, and it's like a shared context. So I'm not a scientist or anything. Oh, totally. And you do sort of, like, just prepare your mind and brain for interaction as well, right? Like, me coming over here, like, this, my demeanor and like thought process is not the same right now as it would be if I was sitting at home smoking weed by myself.
Yeah.
This is very different. My brain is operating in a very different manner.
We're like different people to different people.
Yeah.
We're different people to different people. Yeah.
Whereas if you send me a message when I'm in that state by myself in the basement, high as hell, like, my brain is not operating like it is right now in terms of formulating responses to you.
No, exactly. And then I make I
usually am like, just put the phone down.
No. I make a policy that I shouldn't respond. But it's like, I'll just tell you the story now. So I was like really high, and then like I'm not working right now, so I had an edible, and then I hadn't had it in a long time, but I just wanted to watch movies and things like that. Oh, yeah. But then like I just was like started messaging one of my friends who happens to be like an attractive girl, and then like I just like whatever part of my brain I thought it was like, wow, this is a really good idea. I just know she lives downtown, like Robson Street, which is like really expensive to live down
Business
there.
gears are turning.
Yeah, just like the practicality gears are going, and not the like social context gears, I guess. Yeah. Where I'm like, wait, I have a big room here, like that, and I don't need it. And then, like, wouldn't it be more efficient? Like, I think she's probably paying like maybe close to $2,000 a month, and then like here it's like a lot cheaper. We could just split, and then like it'll be a lot lower. Like if she's spending $800, like I'll get a roommate, I'll get some income, and then she doesn't have to pay as much, and it'll be good for her, good for me, it'll work out. And then
she'll be so grateful.
She'll be so like, it's such a good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of this idea.
I want to put that out there. Suck that one back.
Suck that back. But I was just like thinking like just like practicality wise, it's just like an allocation of resources problem. But
and you're like, and it would be fun too.
Yeah, so I was like writing like a paragraph of this in my like high brain. I'll think of all things like maybe we can do like a podcast because we're living together.
You threw in things like that too.
Dude, I fucking did. And like it's not someone that I like regularly see too. So just all this, and then she was very nice about it.
You sent it too. Okay.
Oh, I fucking totally sent it.
I didn't realize you hit send.
I totally hit send. I sent multiple messages. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And then in the morning I was like, fuck my life. I can show you afterwards. Like, so cringe,
that's
dude.
Good, bro.
Oh my god. And then I'm like, that's so dumb.
Did you send like sorry about that text?
No, I just kind of.
Okay, do not send that text.
What do you?
I would say don't.
What are your thoughts on that? Don't apologize.
No, just
It makes it more weird. You think?
Yeah.
Like,
because then it's almost like if you're. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. It's almost like you're responding to like her having a negative reaction, I guess, sort of thing. Where it's
I could see that where it just seems kind of disingenuous. Where it's like I was like hey, you want to go out? Oh, I didn't mean it anyway. Like,
just like that.
It's just kind of cringy, and it just makes you seem flip floppy.
Also, apologies are just who like has like apologizing is not fun, right? It's like no one really comes across as great and charming when they're apologizing for something, right?
I mean, I think it can be a very good.
Apologize.
I love apologizing. Actually, it's not very Canadian of you to. Just,
sorry about that weird text there.
I think I think apologies are overused like a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it has an important thing in just terms of like, just showing that you care and value the person. Hey, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. And then move on. You don't have to dwell on it. It makes people uncomfortable. Yeah. Like,
I guess I could refine my stance by saying that I hate apologizing for things that I don't don't really feel like there was anything wrong, I guess. Like
right, then they're just being fake.
Because you're just like, I was high and I thought it'd be a good idea. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So it's like apologizing for that almost like you're stating that there was something wrong with it in a way.
Yeah.
Just because
I didn't
react in the way that you wanted.
I didn't like explain myself.
Yeah. Don't. A man should never explain himself. Just do shit.
But she was like really nice about it, thankfully. Like she was just like I just like the independence right now, and I like the area that I'm living in.
Yeah.
But she was nice. Like she's like, oh, I think it's a great idea that to get a roommate. in your situation too. So it was like really like diplomatic and nice, and I'm like really grateful that it wasn't like what the fuck. You know?
You would get a notification. It was like, she has screenshotted your messages
and then sent it to the authorities.
Interesting that.
But that was the. But there's like all like situations like that where you don't want to respond to someone when you're in a different mindset. It doesn't even have to be where you're stoned or anything. It's just like you're just busy doing something. You don't want to send a harsh reply or a quick reply that might come off as too short.
Oh, totally. Yeah. But I don't think you should feel bad about that. I think it's kind of embarrassing, but that's the spice of life, man.
I have a lot of stupid stories that like at the time I'm just like, oh god, like why I did that? Like that's really stupid. Like, but now it's like fun that we can
doing
laugh
like
at.
the European kiss to that lady at your work. That's a great story, man.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever thought about it since like this
since
like,
the incident.
Since the incident, like it just like came up and we were just shooting the shit.
The incident, yeah.
Yeah. Oh god. Just for anyone's.
So you could relay.
Oh, actually, is it still recording? Oh man, it might have stopped recording. Fuck. But we have the audio.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is going good. So
let's pause it.
An hour probably. Right?
Yeah. Maybe we'll just.
Pretty good. Because I got more than I want to talk about.